I want you to see how funny this is. This just shows why there's elites in this world and why there's little bummy guys that will never achieve anything, right? Porsche 911, I've been in it. Turbo S, Camaro, Lamborghini Urus. I'm talking cars that cost $250,000. You know, I sat there in the car and I was thinking, is this what people work their whole lives for? And you have this little bum over here in the corner who's done nothing in his life, achieved nothing in he's done nothing, akhi. Let's call a spade a spade.
My objective was different. And I think majority of people that are listening to this probably still have friends and company that are not aligned with your objective. Sometimes not even friends. Sometimes even a wife.
If my wife didn't come on the objective, I'd divorce her. If she wasn't willing to come onto the objective, I would have to divorce her. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. See, something people always want is a podcast, right? They want us to do a podcast, and we finally decided to do a podcast, right? And the name of this podcast is Central and Co, but not Co as in CO, it's Co as in COO, right? Because what you're about to see in a second is who I'm doing the podcast with, which is our company, COO, and my brother, Mohammed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we've traveled together, man. Alhamdulillah, we've done business together. How many years has it been now? 4 years. Yeah. Okay, it feels like 10. I was dying, but yeah, alhamdulillah. So, like we said, we've built companies together, we've traveled the world together, we've lived together for a long period of time, over a year, alhamdulillah. So, I thought who better to do this podcast with than my brother here. Now, the first and the nature of this podcast, inshallah, naturally, we're going to be answering some of the questions and some of the problems you guys have with me in the comment section, inshallah, and just some things that, you know, I've never clarified on. And hopefully today, there's a list of questions Mohammed has for me, and we're going to go through them, inshallah.
First things first, I'm not your brother today, Sheikh. I think we're going to go devil's advocate with this one.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. You ready?
Bismillah, man.
Okay, Bismillah. First things first, 7-figure entrepreneur.
Alhamdulillah.
I think you're lying.
You see, I get this often, right? Like, if you made 7 figures, why do you live a certain way or dress a certain type of way? Or why don't you have this car? I claim to make 7 figures, and alhamdulillah, I have. I never said, like, at the end of the, you know, bank account, at the end of the year, what was left in my bank account was 7 figures. See, what people don't understand is gross is different to net, right? First of all, a company making $1 million, it's a good achievement, okay? Especially at the age I was, alhamdulillah, I was 20 when I revenued $1 million in my companies, right? But what you have to understand is when you finish the company year, there's things like salaries you have to pay for. There's the cost of the products you were ultimately getting in, and there's loads of things, right? So all because you made $1 million doesn't mean you were left with $1 million at the end of the year. Alhamdulillah, I claimed, like I said, to revenue $1 million, but I never ever claimed to have $1 million net.
I think that's a fair answer.
Assalamu alaikum, ikhwa. So in this podcast, we talked about a lot of problems without giving you clear-cut solutions. Now, of course, I hate doing that, right? And we have to provide a solution to each problem that we mention. So if you would like to learn how to solve all these problems that we mentioned in this podcast, then make sure you click the link below. Sign up on the first link to access our free live masterclass that we will be hosting on Sunday, August the 25th. You don't want to miss this one. People who have came to our previous webinars, previous masterclasses have all reported massive, significant change and benefit. So make sure you join, click the link, get signed in. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, but you're selling courses and programs.
Yeah.
And you said you made 7 figures. But from my knowledge, from insider knowledge, you came from a wealthy background.
Yes, my dad is wealthy, alhamdulillah. Now, I think anyone who knows me from childhood, not since 4 years, would know, and even you know, we don't live a high class or privileged lifestyle whatsoever. In fact, my dad let us know very early, the same thing that I plan to embed in my kids. My money is my money, and you have to go work for your money, right? I was not privileged. My dad never gave me money to start any sort of business. You know, I never even took his advice until after I became, you know, after I've achieved 7 figures. You know, we never spoke about business. Quite frankly, my dad didn't agree with me doing business. He wanted me to go to uni, you know, and get this college degree, and he wanted me to only start business perhaps after I've gotten my degree, which of course I disobeyed my father. Alhamdulillah. But right, that's the game, right? So I come from a wealthy background? Like, is my dad wealthy? Yes, right? But did I live in any way in like a privileged manner? No. In fact, of course, because my dad is a businessman, naturally there was periods of struggle, right? As we know as entrepreneurs. So in fact, right, it's actually more difficult to go from living a certain type of way and then to go below that, which we had to go. I remember for a solid 2-year period in my life, subhanAllah, we had to live far, far, far below our means, right? Far below our means, right? And alhamdulillah, I seen my mum struggle at certain periods during that time. I'll never forget what that's like due to other issues as well. Like, I've never seen my mum so skinny at the time as well. in the way I've seen her. Right, so it's something that pushed me, and it's one of my biggest whys, right, to make sure I never ever see my mother like that again. And just loads of different things were happening with family, just due to the nature. Like I said, my dad's a businessman. Sometimes business doesn't go the best. Sometimes things happen, especially when your businesses are set up in Africa, in Nigeria, right? So, alhamdulillah, bro. Did I come from a privileged background? Absolutely not whatsoever. The only privilege I come from, yani, is alhamdulillah, I have the best mother in the world and the best father in the world, right? But in terms of yani, privilege, in terms of financial or wealth or coming from an entrepreneurial background, no. I lived absolutely normal lifestyle, right?
Okay, so I'm taking up my devil advocate. But something I also heard you mention before is that you actually didn't know about your father's wealth until you got older.
No, big fact, what you just mentioned, right? I didn't know my dad was as, alhamdulillah, successful as he is. And I'm not saying my dad's a billionaire or millionaire by any means, right? But alhamdulillah, he's businesses that are running and they're successful. May Allah grant him more. And I didn't know. It's not something my mother spoke about. It's not something my father spoke about. I know my father owned the shop in Nigeria, but that was about it. Like I said, my dad did not live with us. It's something you have to understand, right? And by the way, being wealthy in a third world country is different when you translate that wealth to the West. It's something you have to keep in mind as well, right? I could live a certain lifestyle, in Africa, right? But then when I come to Ireland, right, I'm probably dropping like 2-3 standards below what I was living, right? It's a different kind of life, right? When you move the money over, right, Naira is not the strongest currency as we know. So, like I said, I didn't know about my father's wealth very early. And like I said, my dad was wealthy in accordance to Nigerian wealth. Okay. Not necessarily. I would say he's above average in terms of the West. Wallahu alam.
Okay, then I have another one, and I don't think any podcast has ever mentioned this before. It's a bit of a personal question, but you said that your dad wasn't around ever since you were young. Speaking to most people that are, let's say, under 30, a lot of them tend to they're finding their masculinity. They're finding their rujula. But you, ever since a young age, you've just always had this rujula aspect, which is weird from a house where the father is not home. How?
My father wasn't home, but he was present. Right? He wasn't home, but he was present. Now, in terms of physically, of course, he wasn't there physically, right? I used to see him a month max in a year, right? Sometimes even years would go by, just like I said, due to nature with visas, etc. It couldn't be that way. But my father was very much present. I can't remember a day where I didn't speak to my father. He'd done his absolute best in the ways he could to be present, right? So the sort of, weak men that we see today, unfortunately, or like the relaxed state, my father embedded the principles in me from very early. One of the things I remember my dad always saying is, take my name and add value to it. Don't embarrass me. Don't leave crap on my name. Something my dad embedded in me from a young age, that make sure you take my name and you further my name. You add value to my name, right? And secondly, majority of people who come from a background where the father wasn't there, physically present, right? Even if the father was present through the phone or they see him sometimes, they're still weak. And that comes down to the mother, right? My mother was tough on us. Right? You could almost argue at one stage of my life, I felt like I had 2 dads, right? Because that's how tough my mother was on us, right? My mother was very strict. She embedded principles in us. I tell you the story all the time, and obviously I came back from traveling and I remember, obviously I missed Fajr in the masjid. So I planned on playing at home. And, my mum came to me, she goes, why don't you go to pray in the masjid, right? And I goes, I'm not praying in the masjid today, I'm going to pray at home. She goes, Allah commanded the men to go pray in the masjid. Praying at home is for women. That's the kind of mother I had, right? So my mom is staying with me, right? Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless her and preserve and grant her long life and all of our mothers. But my mom was staying with me. My mom did not boy me in any way. Of course, I was the youngest child for a while, right? For about 4, 5, 6 years, which came with I say 4, 5, 6 years because I don't remember the exact age. But which came with obviously I was taken care of, right? But I remember as soon as my younger sibling came, I was treated accordingly. Right, the whole baby sense of nice cutie treatment. No, I was treated as a man, alhamdulillah. And I have an older brother, especially as well, was a massive benefit. Right, my brother, as you know, Mubarak, may Allah bless him and preserve him and grant him long life, inshallah. My brother was staying on me also. Right now, my brother isn't the type to batter me, or he wasn't that type, but he would seriously sternly talk to me. Right, and having, like I said, a dad who's present, alhamdulillah, in the best way he can be. Having my mother who was still strong with me, and having also my brother, right? Older brother, alhamdulillah. That's why I became the man I am today. That's why I'm not feminine. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, feminine. You call a lot of men feminine. And they would beg to differ.
Akhi, let me ask you, Mr. Devil's Advocate. Are the men of today feminine?
I'm not answering.
You're not answering, yeah?
A lot of them are.
You know what? Your eyes already answered it. Look, the truth of the matter is, right? When we have, unfortunately, a society where men aren't strong anymore, where men, have sort of become weak, we can only expect, even worse things, a society to end up even like worse than we already are currently, right? Naturally, men play an important role in society, right? A very, very important role in society, as do women, of course, right? But if the men are weak, the women end up in trouble, right? If the women are weak, the men, again, they can still be strong, right? How a woman acts doesn't necessarily dictate how a man behaves, but vice versa it does, right? So a man's position is so important. It's so important for a man to be a man. If men stop being men, all of society, really and truly it falls, right? So which is why we call on men to come back to rujula and to be a man again and to grow some, inshallah, and that's the truth.
Okay. I'm going to take off the devil's advocate now, inshallah. But
so it's a button, we'll just turn it on.
Yeah, we'll just turn it on and off as we like, good cop, bad cop. Okay, in terms of, I think everyone knows you as the mind guy, Allahumma barik. Allah bless you and reward you. And a lot of people have changed their mind, per se, and they've reconditioned themselves and they've become closer to achieving those goals and objectives that they had. How important is having a vision and an objective for a man?
A man without a vision may as well not live. And that's the truth. If you don't have a clear vision, you may as well not be alive, right? And I've seen it in my clients. Like when you deal with people with emotional instability, right? People who are constantly go through sadness, deep depression, etc. It's just because of a lack of vision, right? When you actually look at depressed people and people who maybe suffer from, mental health, right? It's due to the fact that they don't have a vision of their lives in a better state that it currently is, which makes him think that it's not worth living, and which is why people become suicidal. Wow. Right? It's actually because they can't envision a better version, right? A better version of themselves, a better life. So of course they become what? Depressed, right? If I'm in a bad situation and I can never see it getting better, why would I choose to keep living? That's why it's so important to have a vision. Why would you keep going? You see, there's this statement and I keep repeating it, right? In order for you to go through the pain of change, you have to have a compelling vision. Change is painful, right? It takes a lot to change yourself physically, mentally, right? Spiritually, it takes a lot of pain to change yourself. It's not easy. And that's one thing I feel like I don't ever want to represent, like change is easy. I've seen what it takes to get somebody to change. I've had to change myself, right? I wasn't always like this, right? I was troubled, all right? Same thing, I see my clients, how much it took for them to change. Change isn't easy. It's not. It's very difficult and it's a very painful process. That is why you need to have a compelling reason as to why you want to change. You have to have an outcome that is so much greater, right, than your current outcome. And I'm going to paint it to you like this, right? We know the ins and outs of having a business. Everyone looks at it 7 figures. Yeah, you don't know what it takes to make 7 figures. That's the problem, right? Because of all these fake little gurus just talk about 7 figures all the time. You don't know what it takes mentally to make 7 figures. It's not easy at times, right? Especially with the people you have to deal with, etc. If you didn't have something compelling, a compelling reason why you wanted to make 7 figures, knowing what you know about making 7 figures, right? About scaling companies. If you didn't have a compelling vision, would you do it?
No.
Of course not. Why would you? It's too difficult. For me to get to do it's the same thing. The only reason people go to a job that they hate is because that salary to them is compelling enough, right? It's good enough that they do something that they don't like. They can go through that pain. To go through pain willingly, there has to be a desired outcome that is better than the current state. Does that make sense?
Okay. That was actually kind of going to bring me to the next point. When it comes to teaching people about business and all these type of things, you're different to a lot of these other gurus, per se. I don't want to say you're a guru, right? But a lot of gurus kind of do this thing where they show you that it's going to be easy to make money. And even if it's not easy, you're going to make the money and you're going to then be able to live this amazing lifestyle and there's going to be no hardship. And you make it very clear that 1 month you could make 10K, the next month you're broke.
Bro, I was probably broke like 3 months ago, bro. Truth be told, right? And that's just the life of an entrepreneur, right? Like, I've been broke so many times in my life. You've seen it, right? So this is the thing. When you're trying to build something that's bigger than you, it happens, right? Because you're constantly pushing money into things to help it grow. And sometimes you don't get the results that you want, right? So you're broke. Now, do we panic when we're broke, or is there any sort of like sadness? No, it's just just part of the process now. Like, it's actually kind of fun being broke.
You know, the thing is about this, right? Like, a lot of the time, whenever we go through these times of stress, it's more like we have this type of accountability. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's terrible. Why did we get in that state? There's that one mindset. It's like, anyways, we know one way or another, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us more because of the vision and the objective that we had.
100%.
It's for his sake, right? And then there's sometimes like, this is getting difficult, but I just need to find out, why did we get ourselves in that situation in the first place? Learn from it, build from it, and never repeat it again.
Bro, majority of the time, we've fallen into a big problem in business. We've always been able to like sit down, account, and establish that it's mistakes we made in our personal lives. Perhaps we dropped in levels of ibadah, you know, we weren't doing the things we were supposed to do, you know, we haven't been as close to Allah as we were, perhaps, yani, maybe we've been leaving, yani, some of, alhamdulillah, we never leave the obligations, but maybe we've been leaving, yani, delaying the obligations, or maybe we've been leaving off the sunnah, right? The voluntary acts of worship, right? So very quickly establish, like, if a period is that deep and is going through that problematic, there's likely something we've done wrong here, right? And what's the first thing we understand? Okay, we need to lock in. First of all, we need to focus on our ibadah, right? And then, yani, anyway, yeah, it might be a problem that was in the business, and of course it is, but it's through coming back to Allah that you find, like, He helps you find what the problem is and makes it easier to solve. Right? So one of the things, like I said, bro, any bad day in business, any bad day in my life, bro, I will always look in the mirror and say, this is your fault. Now find out what you did, right? For a long time, we blamed the team members and we blamed this variable and that variable. No. Like you always say the thing, like every excuse is valid, but it doesn't bring you closer to your objective. So eventually you're just going to need to accept that it's you. And you need to fix you. So why am I different to these gurus? Why do I teach differently? Why do I tell people it's hard? Because it is. And if that makes you not want to pay for my course or program or whatever, then don't.
Okay, but see, I'm going to ask you a bit more of a personal question, okay? Look, we're not going to cover around the bushes. We're here to make money. We're not going to lie. We're here to make money. But there's many instances where it's like you chose the objective over money. Why?
Because I only make money for the objective.
This is not a person who's insane.
Yeah, it's a person who believes in the objective. Look, if I didn't believe in the objective, right, which, by the way, we keep saying objective, right? The main objective is Jannah, like it should be for every single Muslim, right? And then, but to attain Jannah, we have to live a certain type of life. We have to live in a way to attain the Jannah, right? Now, how everyone's going to attain Jannah, it's different, right? There's different abwab of Jannah, right? There's different gates of Jannah. But in the way we want to attain it, we need money. Truth be told, right? So, but we also understand Islamically, the ends don't justify the means. If it was just about money, then I wouldn't even do business. I'd just rob people. Truth be told, man. I'll just go rob people, you know. I'm Nigerian anyway. I'll probably go into like credit card fraud or something. Do you get what I'm saying? But the objective is Jannah, right? So I can't attain Jannah through credit card fraud, right? No matter how much donations you give, right? So the truth is, of course, we're going to choose the objective, bro. At the end of the day, a lot of the times, bro, for certain things, I don't even want to charge, but I just know it's not going to be respected, right? Or I know it's not going to be valued, or I know people will, like, dedicate themselves to this thing after they're charged. And anyway, like, I'll give you an example. Remember the client, right? He missed 3 calls, right? And we have a rule in the company. If you miss 3 of my calls, I'll cancel your mentorship and I'll take your money. You're not getting your money back. You're wasting my time, right? Now, easily I could have just said, look, charge him for another month. No, the law is what? You have to go run, right? 10 kilometers or whatever it was, right? And then you have to donate £200 to charity. Like, because I know, yani, me just leaving you doesn't fix your state. It doesn't fix your state. But if you have to go through something that is painful, perhaps you're going to realize, and bro, wallahi al-azim, by the way, is there on the call 5 minutes before, all the time, right? Now he's there every time, 5 minutes prior. So the objective is more to me than money. Money at the end of the day isn't like, when you gain money, you realize like, bro, this isn't as sick as I thought it was. Like, bro, I'm going to give it to you honestly, right? Porsche 911, I've been in it. Turbo S, the best version, right? Big up Premier Supercars Dubai, right? Camaro, name me other cars, Lamborghini Urus. I'm talking cars that cost $250,000, right? And bro, I was sitting in the car, and don't get it twisted, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna cap, I'm not gonna lie here and say, it's not worth it, or I was depressed. Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to establish is, you know, I sat there in the car and I was thinking, is this what people work their whole lives for? Peak. Like, you know, I feel sorry for them. Imagine working your whole life, right? This is your dream car, and this is the only thing you care about. Like, that's your objective, to get this car. Bro, I was like, the car is good. Don't get it twisted, right? It's amazing. You love it. You have fun. But bro, just like anything, after a while, you just become habituated. You worked your whole life for like a car. It's the same thing when it comes to money for me. Bro, it's not so much about the money, but more so what the money does. Money is another tool to the objective, right? And what you have to understand, bro, is like a lot of people want to make money to live this comfortable lifestyle, right? I actually don't want to live very, very comfortable, no matter how much money I have. I don't earn money to make myself comfortable, but to make my family comfortable. And you see this.
It's crazy because I remember like sometimes we go on holidays, we pay for expensive hotel. Wallahi, we're sleeping on the floor.
Wallahi al-azim. Wallahi al-azim. Fact. We're sleeping on the floor in an expensive hotel. And, you know, there's all these bougie meals and bougie just get me a bowl of water and just make sure there's meat on my plate. Right? I have a rule. I don't eat from a plate unless something died. Right? Something had to die for me to, you know, I say it's a transfer of life. Soul food.
Soul food.
Yeah, bro. I'm transferring, you know, because, bro, I used to say, make sure it has protein in it, but everyone's, you know, nuts have protein. I don't want to confuse anyone. Something had to have died. Okay? I only eat meat. Okay. Sorry, vegans. I'm actually not sorry. I don't give a toss. But you get what I'm trying to say anyway, right? Look, the objective, I understand that you grow more when you're uncomfortable. Does that make sense? So I always maintain a level of discomfort and make sure I'm not too comfortable because I understand, bro, you see, whenever the room gets too hot, I'm like, bro, pop up. It's way too comfortable in here, bro. Like, I hate comfort. Or when we're like always eating nice, I'm like, bro, you know what, right? I remember, it's funny because these rich people tell you, right, all the time, just go hire a house manager, right? Someone to do everything in the house and, you know, basically you can take care of your stuff. And we did, right?
No.
Then after a while, I was like, bro, I'm relying too much on this person that I'm just becoming like super comfortable. So I was like, yeah, I don't need you for the next week, 2 weeks. Yeah. Right.
I remember I was like, bro, I was telling the woman, poor woman, can you complete my room? Then I stopped. Then I was like, who are you? Like,
what you done?
What have you done to deserve this?
Yeah.
You get me? Yeah, okay, sometimes it's like genuinely, bro, with 12-hour work sessions, it's like day in, day out. But sometimes, no, you have time. Go clean your room.
And bro, I find there is power in doing things that you don't want to do, right? If you just spent the rest of your life doing the things that you wanted to do, bro, it genuinely wouldn't be a life worth living, right? You genuinely have to do things that make you uncomfortable, that push you to the edge.
Okay, so look, I remember speaking to one of my very close boys, right? And it was someone that I still love for the sake of Allah. But I remember sitting down and have the conversation because now he was bugging me, right? Now he's starting to practice. He's like, you know, alhamdulillah, I was already kind of close to you and we already started practicing together. So he was just trying to kind of become closer to me so we can start practicing more together. But my objective was different. And I think majority of people that are listening to this probably still have friends and company that are not aligned with your objective. Sometimes not even friends. Sometimes even a wife. What do you do in that situation?
If it's a wife, bro, I can never push for divorce first. All right. And secondly, I'm an unmarried man. Yeah. So I like to, you know, the reason I like to put that out there is not for what people think. The reason is because, like, I have to be careful when I'm giving advice, right? No matter how much you study the situation, bro, you don't know what that is fully like.
Okay.
I am unmarried, right? So, does that make sense?
Sister, shout.
Don't
that's
shout
number.
me.
That's number.
Don't shout me. But I'm unmarried, right? So what I'm trying to establish is, like, I can't give marriage advice, but from dealing with clients, I can give you that perspective, right? Now, I had two situations. I have one of my clients, right? Alhamdulillah, he ended up he's currently going through the process of divorce with his wife, right? She just doesn't fit the objective, and she's not willing to come in line with the objective. But I have another one of my close friends, and he was able to, because when he got married, he wasn't in the entrepreneurship or trying to do all these big things. He was just a normal guy, right? But then he changed, you know, he has this certain mindset. He was able to train his wife, right? And at one stage, he genuinely said to her, like, it's either you come onto this or we leave. And she's like, after all these years of marriage, that's how you're going to say it to me. Because the objective is over everybody.
So you're telling me if you're in that situation, again, it's not marriage advice or whatever, but if you're in that situation.
If my wife didn't come on the objective, I'd divorce her. Let me just make it nice and quick for you.
Okay.
If she wasn't willing to come onto the objective, I would have to divorce her. Because the objective is bigger than anybody and everybody.
So you're telling me you look her straight in the eyes and tell her, I'm done with you.
I'm done with you. I'm so done with you. Now pack it back.
That's a little mean, bro.
The
A
game is
lot,
the
a lot
game.
of people tell me you're very mean, bro. Because like even in your reels, even bro, imagine someone's paying for a course and the whole time you're shouting at them, telling them to change their lives. Why do you do that? Who do you think you are?
Good question. Man.
Who do you think you are?
Wow. Is this what you guys feel about me?
Yeah.
Tamam. All right, let me explain something, right? I'm going to do the job that, unfortunately, majority of the fathers didn't do, right? No, let me be honest with you. You have to destroy to rebuild, right? Men naturally, when we grow the most is when we've been broken the most, right? Which is why you see men, after they go through a heartbreak or something, of course, in a haram relationship, right? That's when they're at the most active, you know, they're just getting things done. They become this massive, crazy, sick man, and he's just amazing, and he's getting things done. He's productive, he's efficient, because what? He was destroyed emotionally, right? So what you need to understand is the only way to genuinely build yourself to a high level is you need to destroy yourself. And I always ask the question, right? How do you judge how tall a building is going to be before it's built?
Foundation.
How they're deep in the ground, right? It's the same thing. So when you want to destroy yourself, when you want to build yourself up, you have to honestly destroy yourself. You see, all of us as men, we have ego, and ego is the enemy, right? What you have to understand is, as long as I think I'm in a better situation than I actually am in, I'm not going to be, again, it goes back to what I said. As long as I don't believe like me changing is that going to be that big of a difference, I'm not going to go through the pain of change. You know, you genuinely have to destroy yourself and ask myself. And I remember, right, that one moment in my life as well, I was just like, stop blaming everyone. You're the problem, right? And I remember just butchering myself, just telling myself, you did this, and don't lie, it's your fault. Because, bro, it's so easy to convince yourself. That, by the way, it's so easy to convince yourself you're in the right when you're wrong. That's why you see liars, they genuinely at one stage think they're telling the truth. That's why they become like psychopaths, right?
And you know, it's crazy because sometimes, obviously, we speak to mentors a lot as well in other industries, not even in performance coaching. I don't know any other guy that does what you do, Allahumma barik. But you're sitting down, you're speaking with them, and he's teaching you, he's telling you, I teach this and this and this. And honestly, it's true. You see the students, they're doing amazing. But I'm like, I know you don't do that. And because I find that a lot of the time, it applies to everyone but yourself. That's why for a lot of these guys, they actually need mind control.
I've been saying it for ages. Your mentor needs mind control, right? You know, a lot of people think like, I'm successful already, I don't need mind control, right? Or I've attained XYZ. It's funny because we have 6, 7, and 8, by the way, figure entrepreneurs that are studying with me to better their performance, right? Then you have these dum-dums on the internet that make no money, and he tells me my mind is solid. I just need a business industry to enter. Right? Can you see how funny, like, I want you to see how funny this is. This just shows why there's elites in this world and why there's little bummy guys that will never achieve anything, right? One guy has already attained 6 figures, 7 figures, some of them, 8 figures, right? And he's like, bro, I have mental blocks that are stopping me. I need to learn to conquer my mind so I can get even further. And you have this little bum over here in the corner who's done nothing in his life, achieved nothing in his, he's done nothing, akhi. Let's call a spade a spade. Right? But he's saying, no, Fawaz, just show me the business. My mind is already sick. It's already unlocked. We all have self-limiting beliefs. Ultimately, your mind is the most powerful tool you have. If your mind was truly 100% unlocked, you'd be successful. Right? So it's not a business, and that's what we've been led to think by the gurus, by the guys online, and it's why it bothers me, because it's just like anytime there's a problem, it's because you don't have enough money. The problem is your mind, bro. You need to learn how to conquer your mind, and that's the thing, right? Everything needs our mind. Spiritually, we need our mind. Financially, family. So when you conquer your mind, people don't just report higher income. By the way, they report higher income.
Really?
They report higher income, higher revenue. But I'm saying they don't just report higher income. They report better relationships with their family, right? They report a closer relationship with Allah. So, bro, that's why it's so important to conquer your mind, right? Because your mind is in everything. It's not. It's just because we're in such like a money-focused, like, you know, generation right now. Everything is just to do with money, right? Which is why we talk about one of the main benefits of mind control being you get financial freedom. But genuinely speaking, like, bro, the client sent you the testimonial yesterday, right? What did he say, bro? Just tell me.
He goes, where were you when I was 18?
Yeah. He goes, where were you? No, it wasn't 18. 20.
Yeah.
See?
He's sent me a message after, by the way.
Oh, so he put 2, yeah? My bad. See, right? But he goes, the guy's 28. He goes, where were you when I was 20? I needed to hear this. That guy's doing relatively well for himself, bro. It's not like he's a bum or he's not achieving in life. He's, alhamdulillah, Allah barik, he's doing well for himself, right? He's making a good income, what many people would dream to make. But he's still like, bro, where were you when I was 20, bro? I could have done with this information. He said, bro, you're genuinely changing my life. You know, when people, wallahi, I hope that statement, I never habitualized to it. Like, you've genuinely changed the course of my life. And this is why what I do is so important to me, because I see two paths. And I want you all to think and listen to me when I say this, okay? You have two lives, right? The life you live and the life you're capable of living. And that's something that you just must understand, that there's a life you could actually live. There's a life you could actually live that's just behind the loads of things that you don't want to do. And it's my job to unlock that, of course, in the Mind Control program. Okay,
so then a question I could say then is a lot of guys, as I said, they don't see these issues within themselves. And I'm sure 100% some top guy is watching this podcast right now thinking, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that needs to change. I'm perfect the way I am. I have a good job. Let's even take those guys aside, because I think everyone can see, look, you're not doing anything for yourself. Your man's still working. There's still so many issues you need to fix, right? Let's talk about the guys that are already actually, from the apparent, performing. They've got a 10, 20, 30K business. Why do they need to work on their mind more than anyone else?
If you've achieved success without learning the laws of your mind, imagine what you could achieve if you learn the laws of your mind. Let me break it down to you, yeah? You ready?
Okay.
Sick. If I tell you, Muhammad, let's say there's Ibrahim here and Muhammad here, yeah? Sick. You have 100K, you have 200K, all right? Bunny, you have 1 million, you're a big man, all right? Here's 100K. If I tell you I'm going to increase your income by 10%, is it the same for both of you? Technically, the percentage is the same, but the result isn't. You now have an extra 100K, he only has an extra 10 grand. Meaning, if you conquer your mind as somebody who hasn't studied the mind, who hasn't studied performance, right? Something that's going to help you and enhance you, right? Because you've already been able to unlock the technicals, which technicals, by the way, is 20%. 80% is the mind. And the professionals, the best, the highest people will tell you that. 80% of it is discipline and the mind, right? So if you've been able to unlock the 20%, imagine what would happen if you unlock the 80%. Mind control is important to everyone, but I'm saying if you are 6, 7, you should even take up more. Like, I need to sign up for this ASAP, because there is something I could possibly unlock just once I learn the laws of my mind. We don't teach basic stuff, right? And that's why sometimes I'm like, should we have called it something different? I might change the name. Should we have called it something different? Because when people hear mind control, it's just like, yeah, but I already have control of my mind. You know, my mindset is already solid.
But the same guys are talking politics all day.
Wallahi. Literally, bro. Like, but if you break it down and I break you down, come with me for an hour. I'll show you you're not what you think you are. Just like I had to show myself that one stage, right? I'm not what I thought I was. Look, you have to understand, like I said, as men, we have ego, and this ego stops us from genuinely getting better and performing. You know how many guys like came to me and goes, bro, right? I want to work with you to help you push your mind control course. I was laughing, right? When I started working with them, I said, you shouldn't have came here to help me push the course. You should have came here to take the course yourself. Truth be told, right? Because I could just, and so many times we see like in the team, like, oh, like you need mind control, which is why we made it like a pillar now. The first thing they need to do, anyone who comes in the team, is watch mind control. Do you think it's because I'm a narcissist that I make every like member that's coming to work within our company watch mind control? It's not because I'm a narcissist. It's because I genuinely understand that those are the laws that are going to peak my employees' performance and ultimately make the company more money.
I remember from like the original mind control, right? So we had a program called FSP, which was the first step program, which was like, this is the principles and how you can start, launch, scale your business, marketing principles, literally everything you had, right? Of course, now the knowledge is like 1,000 times, but alhamdulillah, at that time, this knowledge was more than enough for a person to come up with an idea, start their own business, launch it, scale it. And there was actually a little module on mindset as well. But I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna give you guys insider information. I think 10 people took the course in the beginning. 1 or 2 people immediately started a business. In fact, did anyone actually start a new business? I think it was only one guy that already had a business and then did really well, to be honest with you.
One other guy did, yes.
Another guy started a business and it ended up 8 out of 10 of these guys didn't perform.
And you know what? For a second, bro, I looked at myself and I thought, you're the problem.
Never heard this before.
Why didn't they, like, bro, for 20% of your students to succeed, bro, only 20%. That means 80% of people failed. That is scary. That means you're a bad mentor, right? It means you're not good at what you do, maybe, right? So then I went back over the information. But this is exactly what made me all the money. This is exactly, bro, I gave FSPs the whole blueprint. I literally taught my own businesses, right? And showed exactly what I did from, I'm like, okay, but it's not broken because every time I start a business, I use this as well. Till today, we use the laws of FSP.
Yeah.
Right? And then I met up with one of the guys that took it later. He's like, bro, this is the best thing ever. I've scaled my business to XYZ. I forgot the figure he was mentioning at the time, and I don't want to misquote any figures, right? I don't like doing that. But he said, like, anyways, it was way more. It's completely changed the course of his business. So I sat down with myself. I'm like, why did that work for these 2 people, but it didn't work for 8, right? Look, the problem was not with the course or the material. Then I asked my sheikh as well. It's like, sheikh, I feel like, how do you know if the problem is with you as a teacher or what you're teaching or the clients? You know what he said to me? And by the way, for the geeks and the neeks out there, I'm not comparing the Quran or the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ to the courses or anything. I'm just trying to prove a point. Yeah, because you always get idiots in the comments. Allah musta'an. But he said something beautiful, man. He goes, is there anything wrong with the Quran? I goes, no. Kid, to say yes is kufr. Like, of course not.
Of course not.
Is there anything wrong with the Sunnah? I said, no, of course not. Akid la. He says, did the Prophet ﷺ did he forget anything? Did he not give the message fully? Of course he did, right? Of course he didn't leave anything out. If you say yes, again, it's kufr. It's disbelief, right? You fell into kufr. He goes, so why is it that Muslims don't do what they're supposed to do in today's time? Right? Or even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was still fahisha and munkar. It's not the information that's the problem or the one who teaches it. Sometimes it's just who takes the knowledge is the problem. That's when I realized, okay, people are broken. And I looked at it, and I looked at majority of courses, and wallah, I actually dug, right? Because it bothered me. I want my clients to achieve 100% success rate. It's not just a thing for me. I've collected your money. Ma'asalam. Now, I want you to become successful. I really care. Wallahi, I do. Right? So when I seen that, like, why haven't they succeeded, bro? I was like, okay, so people are broken. Then I searched up the course stats and different things online. I see, bro, for every 100 people that take a course, do you know how many people make it to the end?
Yeah.
Well, now you know, because we talked about stats, right? 10% of people. Do you know how many people actually implement the knowledge fully over a sustained period of time? Again, 10% of the 10%, meaning 1 out of 100. Knowledge isn't the problem, bro. Business courses aren't the problem. People don't know how to perform. They don't know how to get things done and stay getting things done over a sustained period of time. They take the course, they feel good for a week, they feel high performance, they become a crazy man, and then a week, 2, 3 weeks later, it's back to normal. Same thing happens on Ramadan. Everything, the cycle remains. They're amazing 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then they're like dead for 10. And it's the same process again and again. The systems aren't broken, the people are broken, right? So you have to fix yourself. You have to recondition your mind. We can't do things long enough. Why? Trust me, you could be so much more, and we all know it. Even you sitting here right now, evaluating yourself, there's areas you could do better. So why not learn on how to do better and how to genuinely conquer yourself and your mind? Why not?
I remember, that's what I wanted to mention as well. As soon as that program happened, and then I was like, I'm already working with you at this point, right? With the other company that we had before. But I was not, and I'm working very close to you. Not only am I working close, I lived with you during this period of time. I wasn't performing at my peak at that time. It's around 1 to 2 years ago. That's when Fawaz revealed that he was going to build a program.
Mind control was actually partially because of you, man.
Yeah, I know.
Because I got sick of you, man.
Let me tell you guys something, right? Wallahi, this guy used to write notes. Whenever I do something stupid, I used to see him taking out his little notebook.
But it's obviously like my older brother didn't live with me. Right, so you're the first male, other than my younger brother is too young, right? Yeah. So you're the first male, other than my younger brother, or other than my older brother, I've ever lived with, right? So just seeing how you lived was just so weird to me, bro. Like, how can someone get up at the time? You get what I'm saying? Or do the things he does? Alhamdulillah, of course, now.
Alhamdulillah.
And he's COO. Yeah, so pattern up. Yeah, COO, Allah barik, right? But not to go in depth, but right? There were certain things, etc. And I was just used to take notes, like, why the flip are people like? And I noticed, like, so wait, it's not just Muhammad, right? It's not that this is like everybody, bro. This is like all this, because you have to understand, like, I've been working on my mind and studying my mind for like 5-6 years. So since I became like relatively old enough to be able to perform, I've been performing. Walillahi alhamd. Of course, it's increased throughout the years, right? So I realized that, a lot of people are like this. And then I started to connect and piece all the dots together. I'm like, FSP, this, that, the next. The reason is people don't know how to perform.
And you know what's crazy?
Right.
Wallahi, during that time, I thought, I'm good. I don't need nothing. And wallahi, I'll be completely honest with you. I thought the course you're gonna give was fluff. Honestly, because what I'm reading Atomic
it's about
Habits. Mind. What's mind, bro?
Mind.
What am I gonna
Mind
do,
control.
bro? Give me business laws, bro.
Yeah, that's it, bro. At the end of the day, bro, once you finish mind control, any business just becomes like, I'm not going to say a walk in the park, but it's like you understand the laws. Bro, like I was dealing with a client, right? And he told me, I'm not talking about clients that just, fast pace the course and da-da-da. I'm talking about people who genuinely take the mind control program, right? I was speaking with a client and he said something that was like crazy to me, subhanAllah. He goes to me, bro, I've been struggling with this one thing you mentioned for like 4 years, and one line you mentioned, just one line you mentioned in the program, just one line, just broke 4 years of suffering, bro. 4 years of not performing was broken in one line. That's the power of the mind control. Now, everyone gains different things. The program is very in-depth. It's a 15-hour program of me, like, teaching, right? It's 15 hours. That's not small. It's nothing light,
And
right?
one-to-ones.
And one-to-ones. And the business program as well, you get it, right? So many things, like I said. So it's like everyone has a specific module or a specific part of the program that means more to them. It's natural, it's normal. And that's why we actually put the one-to-ones there so your mentor can drag that out of you and focus on your biggest bottleneck, right? In business, we're always told something, and I want to correct it, right? And it's actually a fact. And if you speak to the industry's best, you'll actually realize this as well. We're constantly told that the best people, right? The best sort of businesses, whenever they have bottlenecks, so whenever any company has bottlenecks, right? What is it? They need new business knowledge. The business experts have actually came out and said, when a business has a problem, the first bottleneck you need to focus on is what? Is your own self. Your own self. Imagine.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because, inshallah, Abu Systems is coming out. So if you have
Inshallah.
any systems, shout me and Fawaz, inshallah.
Big systems guy right here. Abu Systems.
With systems. But what I was looking at, because I'm...
COO. Central and Co.
Okay. I'm looking at a lot of these companies, right? Because I need to, because I'm like, there's no courses really on systems. There's not, I'm trying to learn, like, give me something.
Yeah.
The only way is go into a company, look at where the constraints are, start to learn how to fix these constraints. I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, you've got a team, you've got operations set out, you've got everything.
You've got systems.
But it's you, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the fact. By the way, like, I'm telling you, like, I've taken 6-figure entrepreneurs and the company has just scaled, bro. I've told you some guys, like, they've 8x their revenue through no new business laws, through strictly learning to perform and learning to use their mind. If that doesn't tell you enough, bro, like I always said, it's always the brokies that you need to talk to for ages, bro. Bro, when you reach a level of success, you just understand, I just need to continue working on my mind, right? Till today, like, it's a process. You always have to, take care of the mind and make sure it's, like, in line. Does that make sense? That's why I genuinely tell people, after Quran and Sunnah and everything to do with the deen, I genuinely believe mind control is the most important program. And wallahi al-azim, I testify by Allah, I'm not just saying that because it's mine, right? It's just because of what it entails. It sets you up for life for every situation. Like I said, it benefits you in all realms of your life.
SubhanAllah. The reason I wanted to mention that specifically about the companies and this type of thing is because obviously the best type of people that we would love to work with are leaders.
Of course.
Right? People that actually have impact in society, and we know that many other people will come under them and become great. Because as a result, because I know yourself before, let's say 2 years ago, and now you're very different. Even your leadership skills are very different. May Allah bless you. Right?
Allah bless you.
I've noticed whenever even a certain level of leadership decreases from me or you, the whole team starts to decrease. And it's more exponential than us. Our things we can fix quickly, but for them, as soon as they see a weakness in your leadership, a weakness in your productivity, a weakness in a lack of vision, wallahi, one statement can break down a company. If a person within a company says something like, yeah, I don't know if we can do that, that's it. You've crushed everything else. And because of that weakness, I say it's literally, it could be one 15-minute consultation, right? And if there's any more, book it for us.
I literally had a guy, he requested I speak to his whole company.
Wow.
Right? So he basically booked me in. I spoke to his whole company. He was talking to me about that operation. I goes, bro, okay, your operation seems solid. I'm a businessman myself. I don't see any problem with your operation. But I swerved it a little bit, right? This is back when I used to do business consultations. So I goes, but tell me about your personal life, bro. And how do you feel about the business? And what are your, like, sort of frustrations? How do you feel mentally? Like, are you able to, like, are you performing to the best? How's your performance, right? Because, bro, recently I've just been out of it. It was cool. This is what we're going to do, right? I could fix you, and that's fine. We signed him, obviously, on a 3-month contract. Alhamdulillah. Worked with him, fixed all his problems, right? But one thing he said is the team is still, like, lagging. He goes, bro, it's natural, right? He goes, they're better, but they're still lagging. It takes time, right? You see, a leader can fix himself like that, right? Through certain processes, etc. But the team, they take time to accept this new version of you and this new change. So he got me in to speak to the company we built, worked with them, built their vision, built their processes, etc. In terms of fixing the basically everything around the company. And bro, you should see the company now. Allah, it's flourishing, bro. Walillahi alhamd. And like I said, bro, this is what it's about. Sometimes, like, you know, a leader just needs to fix himself and automatically the company is going to be rectified, right? I remember that period I had to sort of take a lot of time away from the team just because I was going through some personal things, have to take care of things with family and stuff. So it's the first time I'd really been uninvolved, like really uninvolved with the team, right? I just remember coming back and like, what is going on here, right? And this is the first person I stuck it on him, right? Because now you're the leader, right? So what happened? And then I realized, look, the problem again was with me. Did I leave the necessary systems and processes in place for the company to continue flourishing even if I'm not there? No. Does that make sense? So the problems always go back to what the leader, right? When there's an issue, like when you catch a snake somewhere, right? You don't just see its body and say, nah, why is the body? You're going to go back and trace back to what the head, right? Everything goes back to the head, right? The first thing when you're sick, what's the first thing they check? They check your temperature. How do you feel? Do you have a headache, etc.? That's your central unit, right? The head is the central unit of everything. It's the leadership of everything, all right? It's the same thing when it comes to business, bro. The leader of the company, it's so important that he's performing at the best of his abilities or the company is not going to flourish, man.
If you told me this 1 year ago that there's a big correlation between the mind, actual income, yani how a business performs, I wouldn't believe you.
I didn't believe me either. Truth be told, bro. Like I said, bro, I didn't stumble on this because I liked it. I stumbled on it because I had to, right? I was at the stage. My businesses aren't scaling. They're not moving. We're not reaching the revenue targets. It's stagnant. I was like, what's the problem? And it was all personal constraints. And I had to learn my mind, conquer my mind, beat my mind, to study. And I was like, bro, you know what? I love this. Continued studying, alhamdulillah. Help people with it, mentor people with it. I was like, you know what? Again, started teaching business. Noticed that. And bro, I've been teaching business for so long that trust me, business is not the problem. The laws of business, scaling, okay, I genuinely believe you need a lot of knowledge to scale on business, right?
What is scaling? From where to where,
like,
do you mean?
Taking the company from like maybe 6 to 7 figures or 7 to 8 figures. That needs like proper business knowledge.
What are the first 6 figures? Basic knowledge.
Yeah. Right. And even sometimes with the guys that have took a lot of mentorships with the 6 and 7 figures and with the 7 and 8 figures, you'll see that they have a lot of business knowledge. They don't need new knowledge. Right. And that's one of the statements that we mentioned in the Mind Control program. And Talha was actually, again, a 6-figure entrepreneur. Right. He's built a 6-figure company. And he goes, this is the statement that I wrote down and I highlighted. He said, perhaps, right, success isn't in new information, but the implementation of the knowledge you already know. If you just implemented the things that you already know, perhaps you'd achieve success. It's not always about learning new things. How well, like, bro, I'm going to give it to you, right? People always ask me a question and I'm going to basically break this down to you so well here. You're going to thank me in the comments, inshallah, yeah? People always ask me, how do I know if there's a problem with the plan, right? If, like, let's say this thing that I'm working on is not going well, right? How do I know if it's time for me to switch plan or switch industries? Maybe we're doing drop shipping, name me another business model.
SMMA.
And now you want to switch to SMMA. Name me another one.
High ticket sales.
Or high ticket sales. How do I know when it's time to switch? When maybe this just genuinely isn't for me, right? I'm going to give it to you like this. Ask yourself this simple question. Did you do everything you were supposed to? Did you execute, right? A lot of the times people blame the plan when they don't succeed, but they didn't stick to the plan. It's like, bro, my gym coach gives me a plan, a diet plan and an exercise plan. And I did it like 30%. I'm like, bro, your plan doesn't work. No, you dummy. You don't work. You didn't work. Does that make sense? Had you done the work, you would have achieved what? Maybe you would have achieved the body. Now we don't know if the plan is broken because you didn't execute. The only way to know if the plan is broken is if you executed in it over the time frame you were supposed to and you didn't see the results you desired. That's when the plan is broken, right? But 95% of the time, it's the execution, not the plan.
Yeah, but I find like very few situations would I say that I've sat down and spoke to someone and he's telling me, yeah, I did all this. And I look at the process, I'm like, no.
You didn't.
The process was more than fine. Because even though like, oh, okay, other guys sell courses, I'm like, okay, I look at their courses or their programs or their plans.
It's not that bad.
I'm like, bro, it's not the best, but we don't sell a business
just wanted
course
to
anyways.
collect your money.
Yeah, he did want to just collect your money, but there is some things there like
There's value.
If you actually did that, you would have been, even if it's not 100k a month, you would have been at least at 10k a month.
Bro, and you notice a lot of the people these days, they're focusing on tools, right? That's why they love channels like Ali Abdul's and, you know, not even to crap on the guy. Like, he puts out good stuff. But sometimes a lot of the content, again, it just gets the most views. I don't blame him, genuinely speaking, of course. But it's like, what? It's like, it's all tools. This is the app or software I use. Bro, the problem isn't the software. You just don't do what you're supposed to do. Everyone's always like, oh, what to-do list do you use? And what calendar app do you use?
What color pen do you use?
What color pen do you use? And what pen do you use to journal? Bro, I use a big pen, bro. What do you want me to say to you, bro? Like, I don't know what's next. Do you want to know what I highlight my books with? Faber-Castell? Is there anything else you'd like to know? Bro, it's not going to help you read. It's not going to help you start performing. You need to stop focusing on the tools and just learn that you need to fix you. It's not the tools.
Yeah, but
tools aren't the problem.
I thought that's what mind control, stuff is all about.
The tools, man. Tools, I've been a headache. Of course, it's not about the tools, man. Mind control is about learning the different bottlenecks. Like, for example, self-limiting beliefs. A lack of vision. And by the way, everyone thinks they have a strong why. By the way, if your why right now as you're watching this video is I want to get successful so I can help the ummah and retire my mum, yeah, that's not a vision. That's just rubbish. Right?
I think we need
that's cute
to dedicate a whole podcast.
Yeah, we'll dedicate a whole
on
episode to vision because that is such an important one, right? But yeah, vision problems, right? And that's why people can't do things long enough, right? Again, problem with people executing over a sustained period of time, which is one of the biggest constraints people have. Problem people entering like deep work, they can't focus anymore, right? Their brains genuinely feel mushed when they get to work. And you see again that 6, 7, 8 figure entrepreneurs deal with these same problems as well, right? They can't enter deep work. Their brain is always mushed, right? They have self-limiting beliefs, all these type of things. So that's what we're
it's so crazy because you know when you're scaling as an entrepreneur, the most important thing is leverage, right? Where you put in 1 and you get 10 in return. Like, I remember because just when I just started to shift, like even things like dopamine, right? Just training my dopamine adoption, right? But when I started to reduce my usage, okay, there's the word. Dosage, usage, whatever the word is, right? When I started to reduce that, what did I notice? And my sleep times as well, okay? None of that sleep apnea, don't worry for us.
Akhwa, they told this guy in the hospital that you have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I don't even have a PhD. I rectified the sleep apnea.
He's a doctor now.
These degrees, man.
But yeah, I stopped, reduced intake of dopamine, okay? Fixed my sleeping cycles. And I'm like, wallahi, I'm not exaggerating. Things that were taking me 8 hours, I can probably now get done in half an hour. That's not an exaggeration. I'm just there like, I've already written out my task list. Everything is ready. I slept on time. I got up on time. Even if I go take my qailula later on, that's fine. I get up. Phew.
That's you though. You understand certain laws. I'm telling you, there's people who prepare everything. They go to bed on time. They wake up on time. They wake up and they do nothing. It's true. I'm telling you. It's the truth. I had a guy once text me. He goes, bro, I woke up early today, but I didn't know what to do, so I went back to bed. I swear, man. It's like, I woke up. I always hear people say wake up at 5 a.m. I woke up and I was like, what was flipper? Again, like a vision dedicated to bro. Everyone's bottlenecks is different. It's not your job to identify your bottleneck as someone who understands, and that's where I come in. It's just like a consultant, right? A consultant comes in and he understands that, like, okay, maybe, you have an issue with your offer. Maybe, you have an issue with your marketing. Maybe, you have an issue with your sales. But the biggest problem right now that we need to rectify is what? Is your marketing. For example, right? Your marketing message. He's able to, bro, something that you're struggling with and you're frustrated for so long. That's what I love about and bro, by the way, we just spent 15K on a consultant for the program. Just to make that clear, we just spent 15K for a consultant to come into the company, right? I'm just frustrated because I wasn't supposed to say it, but I have to be real with the people. Okay. We just spent 15 bags, grand. What do you want to call it? Or what's other, I don't know, 1,000. Name me something else. G's, bands, whatever you want to call it. For someone to come in, look at our company and tell us, this is the problem. And anyway, what are going to be on staff to fix it, bro? Yeah. But that's the power of knowledge, man. And that's, you can't put a price on it, man. So when someone has knowledge in something, why focus and learn that thing and study that thing for ages? Just get him to come in, pay him a bit of money, whatever. Then just you start working on that thing. It builds you a proper process, and that's what we do. Like I said, and that's why I don't just sell the course and just tell you guys go watch the videos. We mentor you one-to-one. You have to understand that. We mentor you, right? To make sure it's your bottleneck that you're focusing on and you're establishing. If this was about the money, I'd go back to teaching business. It's so much more lucrative. Am I lying?
صح, you're right.
Business, teaching just business is so much more lucrative because all I have to say is, I'm going to make you 200K by the end of da-da-da-da-da. It's easy to offer in 60 days. Right? But when it's to the mind, people are like, do you get what I'm saying? So they become, you know, I don't know, all of a sudden, right? I don't want to say anything tapped.
Don't start.
Right? I'm already going to get cancelled after this. So, but the game is the game, right? They say something tapped.
Yeah.
Right? It's so much more easier to just tell people like, you know what? Here's a 200K program. I'm going to make you 200K in 30 days. Rather than tell people, I'm going to help you control your mind, and your mind then is going to make you more money.
It sounds much nicer. And
Exactly.
there's many podcasts, inshallah, we're gonna come through. Shiny object syndrome, vision, all these different things.
We're going to expose the game. I promise you. We have to.
Inshallah.
We have to expose the game. We have to.
I wasn't ready for that,
No
but I know
gatekeeper.
exactly what you're talking about. Just one thing I wanted to discuss, even in terms of like the whole mind control thing,
Chat to
just
me.
to finish it off, inshallah. And I think this itself also requires a dedicated video or podcast. It's about the idea of having a self-sustained process, right? Where we have, like, for example, we have the vision needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. You can't fix these things individually. They have to be all together. And we use it, like, for example, even in marketing. Remember one time for one of the companies we're looking at, we're like, okay, yeah, we're posting consistently, for example, on Instagram, but we're not getting leads. Why? Because we stopped posting on YouTube. And because the offer wasn't being, you have to have all them together. And that's why people, okay, they read a book, it's like, yeah, I fixed the offer. And yeah, but, okay, I fixed my sleeping schedule, but I still can't do anything. I don't know what to do. Because you have to have all the processes together.
Bro, that's the problem, bro. Everyone is just thinks, I'll just read a book on mindset, bro.
Bite-sized knowledge.
I'll just read Rich Dad Poor Dad, bro. Or just watch like, I don't know who on YouTube, bro. Okay. And then just like everyone else, bro, do you know how many people told me they didn't need mind control, then signed up for it at a higher price? Well, it's the truth, right? In the beginning, they told me, no, I don't need mind control. And they just signed up for it at a higher price. As we say, the game is the game.
The game is the game.
The game is the game.
Taking all these self-help courses, these YouTube videos that are finally going to make you disciplined and productive, but to no benefit, to no avail. You change for a while and then you just return back to your old habits. Only temporary solutions for what looks like a permanent problem. Well, bi'idhnillah al-kareem, on Sunday, the 25th of August, I will be hosting a live masterclass helping you reach a solution that sticks. Change your ways bi'idhnillah al-kareem for good. So make sure you're on that free live masterclass Sunday, 25th of August. Don't miss it. Click the link in the description and get signed up today. Assalamu alaikum.
I think we'll wrap it up.
Alhamdulillah.
Hopefully you guys got to know us a bit better, inshallah, and hopefully more in the future.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Stay tuned for next week, next call.
Next week, inshallah. Weekly, bro.
Yeah.
But we're going to teach the people about consistency and we can't be consistent.
Okay.
Weekly,
I
inshallah.
think somebody might need to pay for some of this info shit.
No, pay for the info. Now we won't gatekeep, but
Yeah.
the game gets the podcast first. We have to put that as the law.
I think that's
The
fair.
game have to get the podcast first.
That's fair.
Who's the game? It's our special community of brothers who have taken mind control, and not just people who have taken mind control. The elite of mind control.
So if you haven't taken mind control, you don't even worry about it yet. We call it a day.
We're done.
خلاص.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.